You guys keep asking, probably the #1 question. Doesn't matter what I'm posting, even if it has nothing to do with a comparison between the bikes. It's always, how does it compare to this other bike? So, let's talk about it. Normally, when I do a versus comparison, I spend a lot of time carefully collecting a bunch of stats. I go through, I analyze, I write a multi-page script. They are very time-consuming videos, which is why I haven't done it yet for any of these. But I have the KLE for a limited time, and y'all don't seem to want to wait that long. So right now, today, let's talk about the differences and the similarities, of which there are many, between the KTM 390, Kawasaki KLE500, and the CFmoto Ibex 450. No script this time, we're going off the cuff, but sometimes that's where the best opinions come from. So let's think about a few categories in which we need to compare these bikes. First is looks. Let's start with looks. It's the most obvious because here we are standing in front of all of them. I have to say, if I was gonna rank them based on looks, and I never liked the way KTM bikes look, but this is one of the better ones, I still would probably go, I don't know, I think I like the aggressive front of the KLE the most. Looks a lot like an Africa Twin. This is a very angry eyeball setup. And then I kind of like the double Cyclops Cylon style of the Ibex, so that would be my second favorite. And sorry, KTM, that's my third favorite. I also color-wise prefer either of these to the KTM. I just don't like that much white on the bike. I like this green. Okay, I take it back, because I did really like the white KLE. I just don't like the white color scheme on KTMs. I like the black better. What about moving them around? How do they feel to move around the garage? What's the weight feel like? And this is really soft ground, so this is gonna be, it's an extra special case, but the 390 is, it's heavier than a dual sport, like you definitely notice, but it's lighter than the other two. I'm 90% sure. We're gonna just give it a feel right now. Well, okay, hold on. I might be wrong. Actually, okay. This one's easier to move. That was not what I was expecting. Too close to the Ibex over there. This one is very narrow, probably feels the narrowest of all three, and more streamlined feeling, more rally bike-esque here on the KLE. But moving it around is maybe slightly better than the 390, but they're pretty close. And I think if you need a TLDR, if you want to get spoiled for what this video is going to end up at, they're all really close, and you should just get the one you like, because having ridden all three, they're very similar and they're all good. So if you're thinking like one is going to be the best one ever and another one's going to be just garbage, not gonna happen. We are nitpicking, we are splitting hairs, we are talking about 10% of the bike's overall being that separates these three. They will do all the same things in pretty much all the same ways, but there are some features that differentiate them, which we'll talk about in a minute, I hope, if I remember. Ibex, this one's almost empty too. Okay, well, that, yeah, it definitely feels a little heavier than the KLE when you start leaning it over, but seriously, 5% better here. 5% winner, the KLE500. Item 2, engine sound. I already know which one's gonna win this. Let's listen to all three. First, the 390. I despise the motor on this. I just do. It sounds like a typewriter, a sewing machine. It really does. It just is not confidence inspiring at all. It's the way it makes its power. It's the fact that it just feels rattly and like unrefined at low RPMs. It doesn't really start to sound or feel good until you get it really revved up, and then it kind of smooths out, but it's just like a damn box of rocks. Here, listen to the KLE. This sounds like a twin cylinder motorcycle. Actually, you know what it sounds like? The Ninja 500, that's what it sounds like. You know why? Because it's the same motor. Yeah, that definitely sounds like a street bike motor. It's fine, it's confidence inspiring. It's a lot smoother and more refined sounding than that 390, for sure. Now, the Ibex. You hear it already? Got some pops in there. Got it, not just the exhaust, but the intake noise too. So hands down, the Ibex is the best sounding of these three. I like the engine character the best. It's a close second here with the Kawasaki. That 390, I just feel like it's gonna like throw a rod every time I start it. It just feels so unbalanced. Again, that's all subjective, but what else do you expect? It's a subjective channel. I'm not a journalist, I'm a reviewer. I'm just a dude, really. Okay, let's talk about electronics. So since I'm standing here by the Ibex, this has some electronics more so than the KLE500. The best thing about the Ibex is this button right here, which you can't see, but trust me, it's here. You press it and you hold it down and it puts the bike in off-road mode, which disables the rear ABS. You can do this on the fly and turns off traction control. That's all there is. There's no modes. There's no ways to have different degrees of traction control. You either have it or you don't. So really it's a street mode and an off-road mode. But the ease of use with this button right here is fantastic. And I absolutely love that about this bike. And you don't have to stop and pull over to switch, which is important. The KLE has ABS. That's it. It does not have traction control, which is fine. I don't think bikes these sizes need traction control. Frankly, I've tried to break this rear wheel loose, even on gravel, and it's difficult to do it by accident. It's difficult to do it on purpose. So all this one has is ABS, and the way you disable it is there's a big red button right here. You press it once so that it starts blinking. You can't see this, but trust me. And then you hold it down, and it is off. Now, if you want to turn it back on, you just press the button again. ABS is back on. Or if you turn the key off and back on, ABS will come back on. If you disable it, or if you turn it off with the kill switch, it won't do that. Hold on, I forgot to check one important thing over here. I think I know the answer, but for science, we're going to do it live. Okay, I'm going to hold down the button, put it in off-road mode, and turn the key off, turn it back on. It is still in off-road mode, so it remembers what you had it in. That's important. KLE does not do that. Now the 390, this has the most electronics. It has traction control with different modes. There's a street mode, a rain mode, and an off-road mode. So you can shortcut this. There's a way to make the top and bottom buttons here on the switchgear shortcuts, but it's still multiple button presses. So, but if I want to put it in off-road mode, I'm gonna press over, I'm gonna go to ride mode, it goes to street, you go down to off-road, you press enter, and you back out twice. With the shortcut, it eliminates 2 of those button presses. It's still that complicated. Now this one does stay off. It will stay in off-road mode when you turn the key off, which is great. So it has 3 modes. You can turn it off on the fly while you're riding. You don't have to pull over. That one you have to pull over and stop. And this one also has optional cruise control. It doesn't come with that, so I had to pay $250 to have this switchgear replaced and have them activate the cruise control, but it is a true digital cruise control because this thing is throttled by wire. So electronics-wise, the 390 runs away with it. It's got way better. Close second is the CFmoto, and the KLE is lurking in third place. But again, how important are those modes? They're not. However, the ability to switch between modes on the fly is pretty damn important, and it gets really annoying when you can't. So that's a big detriment in the KLE's column. Price-wise, the Ibex is $6,500. So it wins, hands down. Next is the KLE, because if you don't get the SE, it is 66, something like that. And then the SE is 75, which might be worth it. And then the 390 is 7,500. So pretty close together in terms of purchase price, but the 390 obviously has more features for the same price. In terms of aftermarket, the Ibex is actually really good. They have a bunch of first-party stuff, and then other companies, like I've got an Outback rack on the back. So this coming out a year earlier in Europe has really helped with that aftermarket, and I think people are really embracing this bike. So there's a ton of aftermarket. Obviously, the 390 is newer, but there's a ton of stuff coming out for it too. It's a KTM. There always will be. Those KTM companies, retailers, and the people that buy them demand that stuff, and so it's there. KLE is brand new, but I can't imagine it won't have a robust aftermarket as well in a year or so. You're just going to have to wait if you're buying one right now because it's pretty new. There's a few things in the Kawasaki catalog. I just watched a video from Outback Motor Tech. They've got one. They're going to start making stuff for it, but it's probably going to take 6 months to a year to get that stuff to where you can actually buy it. Fortunately, the SE is reasonably well set up out of the box. I would like to have some sort of rear mounting point, some kind of rear rack. I don't love that factory skid plate, but it's better than nothing. In terms of aftermarket, I would say the outside two are pretty comparable. KLE is emerging, but will probably be pretty much the same when the time comes. Let's talk about seat height and reach to the ground ergonomics really quickly. So the Ibex, and this is the rally seat. So this is the taller seat. It actually ships with a shorter one, but I have a 30-inch inseam. I've got the balls of both feet down easily, and I can swing my leg over easily. I just like to step on the peg because that's how I do it. Also, this one, I've had the suspension done, so it's even taller than stock would be. Ergos are good. I really like the levers on this. The cockpit's very open, feels good. The windscreen offers decent protection, and it's adjustable on the fly KLE is adjustable, but you got to take it off and move bolts. The 390 is not adjustable at all. The Ibex has a GPS mounting bar. The KLE has a GPS mounting bar. The 390 does not, but Vanash makes a very, very excellent mount for that, which bolts right on, takes about 12 seconds to put in, which I highly recommend, and I will link for you. The display on this is gorgeous, very easy to read, and I think it displays a lot of good information. I think it's brighter and easier to read than the one on the 390 for sure. I have not put risers on this, so the stock bar position is pretty good. The bars are pretty wide. The standing position is also pretty good, although you definitely notice here that this tank is a lot wider. This definitely feels like a smaller version of a bigger adventure bike, which is a stupid thing to say, but compared to the other two, it's a little different. But you're well protected from the wind. You're more protected from the wind on this one. But that doesn't really deter from the ability to ride it aggressively off-road, I don't think, because it's really narrow right where it counts. And it's very easy to get up and into the ready position. The KLE, ergonomically, whoa, just sank into the ground. Yeah, it's about the same, honestly. I have the balls of both feet down. It's very similar to that with the rally seat. This is the stock seat. It feels narrower. The whole bike feels narrower. There's a lot less bike up here than there is on the Ibex. And the seated position on this one is lower. That's the rally seat. It's a little higher, so you get a little bit more on top of the bike. But even with the stock seat, I don't remember it feeling so much like I'm sitting down in the bike as I do on this one. So it's definitely more of an in and not on feeling. Standing up, this thing has the largest freaking bar riser clamps I've ever seen. They're like 6 inches high, I swear. So the standing position is great. I feel like this thing was designed to be comfortable standing up. Like that was a priority. Obviously they're all designed to be ridden standing up, but this one is like they really made that the priority. I'm sinking into the ground here in a way that is not helpful, even though I put a stick under there. Easy to grip the tank, a lot less up here. It just definitely feels narrower and more nimble. This is more T7-like. This thing reminds me more of an Africa Twin or a GS with the big tank in the front. This is less top heavy than a T7 though, significantly less top heavy. Wind protection is pretty good. I think the other two I've added a wing. I don't know if I would have to with this. It gets the wind up definitely when I'm riding to the top of my helmet. You can see the freeway test if you want to see exactly how that goes. So it's not like bashing my head around like I sometimes get with other bikes, but you definitely get a lot around the sides because it's just not as wide. So wind is coming through and up and kind of slapping you, but it's not like pushing you the way it does with some of the other bikes. The stock mirrors on the Ibex are better than the stock mirrors on either one of these two. You can't see them because I've replaced them, but the stock mirrors on the Ibex fold. So they're very good stock mirrors. They're better than these, which are fine, but I always replace stock mirrors right away. Oh, and the Ibex has 2 charging ports. The KLE has none. The 390 has 1, but it's USB-C only. No charging port is almost criminal on an adventure bike in this day and age. It almost got me stranded in the woods, honestly, because my phone died and I couldn't charge it. Yeah, partially my fault, but that wouldn't have happened on either of these two bikes. I think my knees are bent slightly more on this bike than they are on that one. But other than that, it's, again, like I told you, they're gonna be very close together. Let's talk about the 390. So the 390 does have this seat cover on it, which doesn't really add that much height, but some. So it's taller. The 390 is immediately noticeably taller. It's definitely more of a tiptoes both sides situation than a balls at my feet situation. The stock suspension is stiffer than either of these two. And the other big difference here with the 390 is that the suspension is adjustable. You've got clickers and knobs up here. The KLE is not adjustable at all up front. The CFmoto is partially or fully. I'd have to look it up. It does have some adjustment, but this is all on the fly toolless adjustment, so you can do it while you're riding. CFmoto, you need at least a screwdriver. Charging port is here. Windscreen provides decent protection, but it's not fully great because I needed the wing to get it up over my head. And it's raining on me. So I didn't like the standing position. I always, on KTMs, think it's too low. It's probably the actual right position, but I don't ride that hard, so I'd rather be comfortable, so I like to get about an inch up out of there. So I've done that with this bar riser. Otherwise, the stock bars are fine. The switches, the electronics are easy enough to navigate once you kind of understand how KTMs work, but I wouldn't say it's like super uber duper intuitive the way it is when you just push the one button on the Ibex. That's a lot of talking and staring at these. Should we just ride them back to back and talk about how we feel? It's probably smart. Plus it's raining, so I need to put my gear on. Yeah, don't fall over. You're thinking about it. I can tell. I can tell you're thinking about it. It's probably fine, right? Probably fine. So I'm gonna head out and do the road test portion of this comparison. I will ride each one back to back to back, and it's just gonna be kind of like a stream of consciousness about how one feels compared to the other. So it's not a scientific test. 3, 2, 1, go. What was that? Weird. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, that front end would have come up for sure. You see what I mean though? I can stay right in the power. All right, let's go. I've got more. I'm not revving it all the way out. It is still in break-in, so I'm trying to be nice to it.